It is remarkable how something as simple and familiar as a cup of fermented food, kefir, kimchi, yogurt, sauerkraut, might contribute to clearer thinking and healthier aging. A new early-stage study suggests exactly that. Adults who consumed a daily serving of fermented foods experience changes in their microbiome and inflammation markers that are strongly linked to long-term memory preservation. While the research is still in its early phases, the results point to a beautifully accessible and positive strategy for supporting brain health. Nourish the gut, and the brain appears to respond. Fermented foods have been part of human diets for thousands of years, but today we're beginning to understand why they matter. They bring living microbes directly into the digestive system, introducing beneficial bacteria and compounds that the body would not otherwise make on its own. These microbes do not simply pass through the gut. They help shape the ecosystem there, interacting with the resident flora and producing metabolites that influence immune activity, metabolism, and even brain chemistry. Scientists call this the gut-brain axis, a communication superhighway between the nervous system and the microscopic world inside the intestines. The new study followed adults who added daily portions of kefir, kimchi, or yogurt to their diets for several weeks. Researchers monitored changes in their microbiome composition as well as blood-based markers of inflammation, oxidative stress, and neural health. What makes this study exciting is not dramatic cognitive transformations. Those take years, but the way these simple foods shifted early biological signs associated with dementia risk. One of the most notable findings was an increase in microbial diversity. Participants who consumed fermented foods developed richer populations of lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, and other beneficial species. Higher diversity in the gut has repeatedly been linked to healthier cognitive aging, stronger emotional balance, and more efficient immune regulation. A diverse microbiome produces a wider range of short-chain fatty acids, vitamins, antioxidants, and signaling molecules that help keep both the gut and brain functioning optimally. Alongside diversity, researchers saw a reduction in inflammation markers, especially IL-6 and CRP, two proteins that tend to rise when chronic, low-grade inflammation is taking hold. This matters profoundly. Elevated inflammation in midlife and older age is one of the strongest predictors of later cognitive decline, memory loss, and neurodegenerative diseases. Fermented foods appear to calm this inflammatory pattern by strengthening the gut barrier, reducing endotoxin leakage, and nudging the immune system toward a more balanced state. Even more encouraging were the changes in markers tied directly to brain health. Some participants showed improvements in levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein essential for memory formation and neural plasticity. BDNF naturally declines with age, but people with higher levels tend to retain sharper memory for longer. Fermented foods seem to create an internal environment that supports BDNF expression, possibly through metabolite signaling or improved vagus nerve communication. Although the study did not focus on advanced cognitive testing, participants did show slight improvements in short-term memory tasks, reaction speed, and learning efficiency. These were small gains, but remarkably consistent across different types of fermented foods. Kefir appeared particularly effective at boosting lactobacillus counts and reducing inflammatory markers, while kimchi, rich in polyphenol and plant fibers, showed strong effects on microbial diversity. Yogurt offered a gentler shift, improving metabolic markers and stabilizing gut pH. Together, these results suggest that the specific food matters less than the regular presence of fermentation in the diet. One of the most positive aspects of this research is its practicality. Fermented foods are inexpensive, widely accessible, and do not require special preparation. A single cup, whether as a drink, a side dish, or part of a meal, provides a meaningful dose of beneficial microbes. And because these foods fit easily into different culinary traditions, they can become an enjoyable daily habit rather than a chore. The study also hints at exciting possibilities for future dementia prevention strategies. Instead of relying solely on medications, communities may increasingly incorporate fermented foods into health programs for older adults. Nutritionists might recommend personalized combinations of fermented and fiber-rich foods to optimize microbiome balance. Caregivers could use these foods to support better sleep, mood, and energy, factors that play important roles in long-term cognitive vitality. It's also worth noting how synergistic fermented foods are with other healthy behaviors. Combined with physical activity, omega-3 intake, and adequate sleep, They may amplify the body's ability to regulate inflammation and protect neural pathways. In this sense, fermented foods become part of a simple, evidence-based toolkit for maintaining sharpness and emotional steadiness into later decades. Of course, fermented foods are not a magic shield against dementia. But the message from the study is deeply hopeful. Even early biological markers, the kind that shift quietly years before cognitive decline becomes visible, can be influenced by daily dietary choices. The gut responds quickly, and the brain follows that lead over time. This research reminds us that the path to better memory does not always require high-tech interventions. Sometimes it begins with the living foods that humans have relied on for centuries, microbial partners that, when welcomed into the gut, help calm the immune system, nourish the nervous system, and support the mind's clarity and resilience. A daily cup of kefir, a serving of kimchi, or a bowl of yogurt may not seem dramatic, but in the landscape of brain health, these modest steps could prove surprisingly powerful.